Hey, it's Kim Constable, and you are watching WAB TV, your one-stop shop for home business support and training. And this is a very special edition of Work at Home Wednesday because today I have Mr. Matt Wolfe with me. Hi, Matt. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we are so excited to hear you, and I'm going to give you such an introduction. Wait till you hear why you want to listen to this guy. Matt Wolfe is an online entrepreneur, blogger, author, and former social media addict. After leaving a job in 2009, Matt began building a blogging empire in several different niches. Now, I first heard about Matt, and I didn't tell him this, I don't know whether he knows. My cousin bought me a book called Web Domination, and it featured none other than Matt Wolfe. And I actually used a lot of the systems that he wrote about in that book to launch and set up my own company. Matt also founded the WordPress Classroom, which has taught more than 20,000 students over the years how to set up websites with WordPress. With his current blog, businessandblogs.com, as well as mattwolfe.net, as well as Learn to Blog, as well as everything else that he does online, he is one of the most qualified people that I have ever spoken to teach you how to build websites, how to blog for money, and how to really build online success. Matt started blogging in 2005 on the topic of window coverings, of all things. Okay, we're going to have to go into that one later. And he quickly learned that blogging could be a lucrative business and began generating sites in the finance niche, health niche, and gardening niche. Matt, you are a man of many talents. Now, today, he is a recognizable figure in the world of online marketing and blogging. And we also do a little, side thing together in learntoblog.com. It's a very profitable partnership. Now, Matt also has a #1 best-selling book on Amazon. It is called WordPress Revealed: How to Build a Website, Get Visitors, and Make Money, even for beginners. So I just know that you guys are going to love this interview today. Matt is going to have so much to share with us. What do you think, Matt? Was that a good bio and good
Wow,
introduction?
that was big. That was I'm blushing a little bit.
No, do you know what? We only have the best on here, and I really am so excited that you agreed to this interview today because I've wanted interviews for ages. Okay, so I told you before we started that I put a question out to the premium members of the Work at Home Mums Network, and I chose one which is one that mums struggle with all the time. And it's Lisa, and she says, I have just started up my own business with a friend, making crafts at home. We've been attending craft fairs, etc., and our products really seem to be popular. However, I know that if we started to sell online, we could potentially grow a thriving business. But it just seems too daunting. We started a Facebook page, which is going really well, and I'd love to have my own website, but I have absolutely no idea where to begin. Should I hire a web designer or should I do it myself? Which pages are the most important to have on a website? How would I grow my list and sell my products? And should I have a blog? That's not really one question, that's like 10 questions. So she says, any advice that King Matt, with a wee wink, could give me would be massively appreciated. Thank you in advance. Love, Lisa. What do
That's
you
a
think,
great
Matt?
question. A lot of great questions.
Yes, a lot of great questions.
So I personally believe that everybody should have a blog. It doesn't matter if you're, just an individual just trying to blog for yourself, whether you're a business, no matter what you're doing. I personally believe that everybody should have a blog. I've kind of always taught that if, you just want a blog to put yourself out there, to be just, you don't have a business,
Mm-hmm.
put something out there to journal your story. Tell people who you are, let people know who you are, what you're doing, what your goals are in life. I think a blog is beneficial to people like that, but definitely it's beneficial to businesses. And I think the fact that you've built up a successful Facebook following is a huge indicator that a blog could be beneficial, because there's obviously people looking for what you're doing and what you're putting out there online.
Right, that's a
And
good
that's
point.
proven by that Facebook page, that
Right,
Facebook
right.
group. So I definitely think that a blog is something that would benefit your business. And the reason I think a blog would be beneficial to every business is a blog is a place where you can put really good content. So you make these blog posts, you put some really amazing content, and that's what draws people to your blog. So your blog is kind of the magnet that brings people to your website. The blog is where you put the really awesome content that people find in the search engines, that people share on social media. It's the place where you put that content that's going to attract people to the blog. And then from the blog, you funnel them towards your business. You funnel them to what you're selling. So whether that be you put an opt-in form on your blog, try to collect the emails, or you just have links to purchase your products, that blog is that magnet that draws people in so that you can capture them, so that you can try to get them on an email list, that you can try to sell them their products. As far as should you hire a designer or should you do it yourself, what we like to teach is a system called WordPress. And WordPress makes it really, really simple to get your own website online. It's pretty much drag and drop kind of simple to get your websites online. So the stuff that we teach over in Learn to Blog is, and our free blogging bootcamp is how to get your stuff set up by yourself without any tech experience. So really, I don't think a designer is necessary. I mean, if you've got the budget for it, you want to pump some money into it, you can. But if you're just getting started out, you're just trying to start with your web presence, I say tackle it yourself. I mean, I don't think it's that hard to do, and I really don't think it takes that much technical ability to do it. I'm sure
Matt,
I missed some
sorry,
questions.
I just want to interrupt you. So you guys actually teach in a free boot camp how to set up a website step by step.
Right. Yep. It's a
like
7-day
it's really
boot
just
camp.
follow the process, do what I say, and you'll have a website.
Exactly.
Wow, that is an amazing resource.
Yep. It's at learntoblog.com/free. So if you go there, it's a 7-day boot camp, and by day 2 or 3, you'll have a site online and running.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Okay, so you reckon that unless you have a big budget, which a lot of work at home moms don't. I mean, they don't have a big budget, and that's really the problem. But it's almost like, you know, like if somebody said to me, "Do you want to come and play cricket?" You know, tomorrow I'd be like, I have no idea how to play cricket. So it's kind of daunting, you know. The same thing with starting a website, you know, especially if you have a craft business, which a lot of moms do. The thought of getting online and starting up a website is just so daunting. So what, if they're going to follow your program, say that you have on Learn to Blog, what are the most important pages? Is that kind of thing covered? You know, what should they put on there? How much content, how much information? How do they even do a sign-up box? Like, what's the most important?
Yeah, I mean, all that kind of stuff is covered. Just off the top of my head, the most important pages are obviously going to be your home page. That's kind of the page most people come into. You know, in an About Me page, and if you're selling a product, a sales page, those are going to be the most important pages if you're trying to make money with your blog. I think more importantly is what we call to actions, where you're actually trying to get people to take an action when they land on your website. The call to actions on your website are more important than specific pages. So if you're trying to capture email addresses, you want to have some sort of opt-in box, some sort of pop-up, some sort of form to collect the email address above the fold on your website. That's what we call a call to action. The call to action is give me your email address and I'll give you X in return. I'll give you this cool freebie in return. So more important than the specific pages of your blog, having calls to action on your blog is where your focus really should be.
Right. And
if that makes sense.
Can you give us like a specific example of a call to action that you've used in the past, or something? Like sometimes it's nice, or these terms are wonderful, but they're too generic. So do you have like a specific example of something that you've used maybe in one of your businesses in the past to collect emails, or that's really converted for you? Sure.
Well, if you actually go to the learntoblog.com/free, that is actually where you sign up for the 7-day boot camp. And on the site, there's a message there that says, give us your email address and we'll send you our 7-day boot camp on how to get your website set up. So that's one of them. You know, we've done free reports in the past. I did an interview with Pat Flynn, a real well-known blogger. I interviewed him, and we do have an opt-in page that says, you know, give us your email address and we'll give you immediate access to this hour-long interview that I did with Pat, all about how to get your blog set up and how to get traffic to it and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, I mean, just think of something that you can give away for free that your potential buyers would really like, and use that to capture email addresses.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point, I suppose, and it's something that I always teach as well. It's about what are your customers, and we call them pain points. What are their deepest desires, their deepest fears? What are their problems? You know, what keeps them awake at night? What are they looking to solve? But I love the point that you made, which I kind of just want to go back to as well, because Lisa was asking, you know, should I have a blog? You know, a blog, people are kind of like, well, what's a blog for when you've got a website? But it's out there and it's marketing your material. It's out there working for you, if you like, to bring people back to your website. Is that really what you were saying about a blog?
Exactly. What most businesses do is they have a website that's essentially just an online business card. You know, they'll put a portfolio of some pictures. They'll have, contact details and not much more. You see a lot of businesses do that. And that's, in my opinion, a huge mistake. If you have a blog, you have something where you can consistently add new content. You can bring in guests on your niche. You can post great content on it. And you're giving people a reason to come back to your website over and over again. You're giving people a reason to share your website on Facebook. If you're essentially just putting a business card online, people have no reason to share that. There's no reason for people to go, oh, you need to check this out on Facebook. However, if you're making blog posts and you're giving really great content that your following, your niche would be interested in, that gives people a reason to share it. That gives people a reason to tell others to come to your website as well.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, listen, I have another question for you, because this was one that, again, we got asked a lot when I told my members that I was interviewing you. They all wanted to know about plugins. A lot of them are kind of in this process now. And like I mentioned to you before the interview, so many of our members are members of your website. They absolutely love it. It's a fantastic resource. So go there, learntoblog.com, and sign up after this interview. But plugins, I mean, so let's say Lisa's going to be selling crafts online, for example. How easy is it to set up a shop, to put your pictures online, to integrate with PayPal? Or, I mean, all that seems like massively complicated. Is that something that she'll be able to do herself?
Absolutely. I mean, what we teach with WordPress, the reason we teach WordPress, the reason WordPress is so easy is because it has what's called plugins, which is ways to add new features to your website. You basically, there's a plugins area inside your WordPress dashboard. You go and add new plugin. You search for whatever you're trying to accomplish, and most likely there's a plugin that you can just click install now. That plugin's on your site, and it gives you access to those new features. So if you're trying to sell arts and crafts, there's a plugin called WooCommerce that you can actually use, which is just is it WooCommerce? Yeah, I think it's WooCommerce. There's a plugin called WooCommerce that actually helps you set up like an online storefront to sell your arts and crafts, and it's all drag and drop, real simple, no programming experience. You just kind of go and install the free plugin, and the new functionality is added to your site just like that.
Wow, that is amazing. So really it does seem like something so simple. And again, I always tell people, like, start off small. You may have like 100 things that you've made, but start with 5. But make a page, put them on the page, sell those 5. And obviously measure what are your best sellers, and just put those on your website. Start small. Don't ship worldwide. Don't overwhelm yourself. Just step by step, and do it little by little. Matt, you have been amazing, and I just want to ask you a couple more things. What are your personal plans for the future? Because you have such an online following. You have built so many niche businesses, and I know that the members were so excited whenever I told them we were going to interview you. So, I mean, you have websites in how many different niches?
Well, a lot of the website niches that I started in, I've either sold them or kind of phased them out just to kind of put more focus into the stuff that I'm doing now. But my first was in finance. My second one was in the health niche. My third one was actually in the gardening niche. Not that I have a huge passion for gardening. That was kind of more of an experiment. Just wanted to see if there can be money made in almost any niche. And then I started getting into the teaching what I was doing niche. The how to blog, how to do online marketing kind of stuff niche. And then I've done several blogs in that same niche since then. So I had my blog, Business and Blogs, and then I started mattwolfe.net, and now I pretty much, for the most part, blog on mattwolfe.net with all of my personal stuff. I blog on Learn to Blog with all the blogging-related stuff, and then I've got another blog called Gig Hopping, which I started with another partner that is all about doing little mini gigs, like doing stuff on Fiverr and Udemy and
perfect.
Little mini small gigs. So that's another site that I just recently launched, and starting early next year, I'm planning on relaunching a podcast. I did a podcast for about a year, a little while ago, and then got tied up with some other ventures, and now I'm coming back around to the podcast again.
Yeah, and podcasts are popular at the minute. How have you seen the industry change? I mean, you've been in the business now for 8 years since you started in 2005 with your first blog. How have you... Isn't that right? 8 years? Yes. Okay. I'm like, math was never my strong point. Have you?
Well, I started blogging back in 2005, but I never really started studying marketing until probably closer to about 2008. Okay. So that's when I started figuring out the marketing stuff and figuring out how to generate traffic and how to actually monetize my blogs. My first blogs back in the early days, I didn't figure out how to make money with them that early on. It took me a couple years to kind of study and learn and figure that stuff out.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of things have definitely changed. I've definitely noticed that these days there's a lot more people taking a stab at it. There's a lot more people jumping into trying to start their own websites, trying to start their own businesses. I felt like when I first started, it was a lot harder to get a website online. There wasn't tools like WordPress readily available. Domain names cost a lot more back then. Hosting costs a lot more. It's gotten so competitive that the prices on all that stuff have actually come down. It's gotten cheaper. The barriers to entry have gotten lower on that kind of stuff. That's one of the big things I've noticed. Design elements have changed over time. Obviously, you can tell a site that was done in 2005 versus a site that was done in 2013. Traffic strategies have changed a lot. Facebook wasn't a traffic strategy. I don't even know if Facebook was around yet.
I don't think so.
Facebook wasn't there yet. Twitter wasn't there yet. We basically put focus into SEO and purchasing traffic on Google AdWords. That was kind of our main traffic strategies back when we first started. So now with stuff like Facebook and stuff like Twitter and social media being a good traffic source, and domain names getting cheaper, hosting getting cheaper, the barrier to entry for this kind of business has just gotten lower and lower and lower. So it's easier and easier for more people to get in and do it.
Yeah. Tell me about hosting quickly before you go. I don't want to keep you much longer, but it's another question that we get a lot. Who should I host with? What about hosting and purchasing domain names? What are your top tips? I want to purchase a domain name and I want to get hosting. Where do I go?
Typically, we just recommend HostGator. I use HostGator personally. MattWolfe.net is on HostGator. It's what's called a shared hosting account, which means that the server you're on, you're shared with a couple other websites, but it's very, very inexpensive.
Right.
And it's still pretty fast and pretty efficient for what it is. And if you go and sign up for a place like HostGator, they can handle the domain name and hosting for you all with one fee, and it's something like $10 a month, or if you prepay for a year, it's maybe $100 for the year, kind of thing.
That's great.
And that's kind of what we recommend these days to get started. If your site grows really, really fast and gets a ton of traffic, you might outgrow HostGator, but that's kind of one of those cross the bridge when you come to it kind of things.
Yeah, you want to be there. You're like, that's a good problem to have.
That's kind of one of those good problems. Hopefully by that time you have the money to invest in a more expensive hosting that can handle the traffic load.
Yeah. And Matt, you have a beautiful daughter, 9 months old. Would you consider yourself a work-at-home dad? What would you be, a WAD? You're not a WAM, you're a WAD?
I don't think I could. I do work at home, and I am a dad, but my wife is home all day too, so she works from the house. She's more of the work-at-home mom, and I'm just kind of the. I just work at home.
She should. We'll give her a free membership if she wants. We'll give her a free membership to the Work-at-Home Moms Network. Very cool. If she wants to join with some other mums who are doing the same thing. Yeah, we're the same. My husband works from home as well. He does have an office, but he never goes there. So I'm
the same way.
It's busy and noisy in our house, but it's all good fun. And it's the way forward, I think, the way that the world is going these days. Matt, you have been absolutely amazing. Do you have any other pearls of wisdom to share with our work-at-home mums? Don't worry if you don't. It's just a last red herring to throw you.
Yeah, I think every business should have a blog. Every person should have a blog. If you're trying to even start a business, maybe you don't have a business yet. I know there's a lot of people in that situation that don't even have businesses yet. They're still trying to figure out what they want to do. Start a blog and share your journey. That's kind of one of the best pieces of advice I can give to people, is to start a blog even before you know what you want to do, and start blogging about the process of figuring out what you want to do.
Yeah.
And people will start to follow along to that. It becomes kind of a personal journal that you're opening up to the world, and people start to hold you accountable, and you'll feel obligated to get stuff moving because people are watching you and paying attention to you. So my advice is always just get going. Start a blog. Doesn't even matter if you have a business yet or you're still trying to figure it out. Just get something started.
It's perfect. That's exactly how I started. I just started. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I just started. And actually, do you know what it was for me as well? It was the persistency. Because I committed to doing it, I said I'm going to blog every day for a year. And I did, and I committed to doing it every day. And because I made that commitment, I was on the computer, I was online, I was figuring it out, I was learning every single day. It was really a commitment to learn. And because of that, my growth. But then I joined the WordPress classroom, and that helped me along the way as well. It really did, actually. It was great. So the WordPress classroom and then Learn to Blog, really just gave me I had the persistency and the effort, but I didn't have the tools. And then joining Learn to Blog and the WordPress classroom gave me the tools to apply my effort and persistency to, because otherwise I was just kind of running uphill on a treadmill and not really getting anywhere. So Okay, so guys, here's what you have to do. At the end of this interview, we have all of the links below. You need to click to join learntoblog.com. You will get a free 7-day business bootcamp, but we'll have your website up and running in 7 days. And then if you are so inclined, please join learntoblog.com. I think it's $197 lifetime membership. Is that right, Matt?
Right, yeah.
It's for
Lifetime
nothing.
membership.
For nothing.
And we add new stuff every month to it.
Yeah, oh my goodness, let me tell you, that is, if you break down that cost, $197, into how often you will use that, into cost per use, it'll be nothing. It'll be pence or cents if you're in America. And also, if you are so inclined, I would highly recommend that you get a copy of WordPress Revealed, How to Build a Website and Get More Visitors and Make Money Even for Beginners, although he is rebranding in 2014. So if you're desperate for it, buy it now. If you can wait a couple of months, get it when it comes out. But Matt Wolfe, he knows what he's talking about, and he is the one to listen to.
And if you do get the book on Kindle, you'll get the update for free. So if you get it now and you get it on Kindle, the update comes free.
Go to Kindle. You know what? I looked at, I think it's like $5 or $6 on Kindle. I mean, it's for nothing. You can click on it, you can buy it, you can have it delivered to your Kindle, and then you get the update for free. I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to do that now, because I didn't even know you had a book until I looked, and then I was like, he has a book. So I'm going to go buy the book. Matt, thank you so much. This has been an amazing interview. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah, it has been fun. And if you're not a free member of the Work at Home Moms Network, if you're watching this on YouTube, then go to workathomemomsnetwork.com and subscribe. And then straight after that, go to learntoblog.com and subscribe there too. And of course, subscribe on YouTube and share it with your friends. This has been Kim Constable with Matt Wolfe of learntoblog.com, mattwolfe.net. And we will see you soon.
See ya.
Take care, Matt. Bye-bye.